Hi guys, this is Vanngo. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, Dana Fraser here lent me her gorgeous canvas to create this makeup look for you. It's more sultry, sexy, smoky eye look. I mean, this look you can wear day, night, any event. You can get away with that. And I really like to do this kind of smoky eye makeup. I hope you enjoy the video. Give the channel always a lot of love. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and don't forget to follow all of us on Instagram as well. Thank you. To start every makeup, I always prep the skincare first. The first product I'm using is Bioeffect OSA Water Mist. This one is a hydrating mist. You can use it before skincare prep, throughout the day, or you can do after makeup. This one is subtle mattifying mist, so it does matte the skin a little bit. It can use anytime, and it have many great ingredients. The next product is the lip balm from Bioeffect as well. This one I take it out from the bullet. Is help to hydrate and moisturize the lips. Is free of tint. This is great for all over or under your lip product makeup, like great for under lipstick. And this can use overnight as a lip mask as well. The next product is the EGF Eye Serum. This is a hydrating eye serum that helps to reduce puffiness, and this have this cooling and depuffing metal roller, but for sanitary reason I just not using that today. This helps to reduce appearance of fine line. It's great for all skin type. This is one of my personal favorites as well. It's free of oil fragrance, alcohol, and gluten. Always be very gentle around the eye area. Bioeffect EGF Power Serum is what I'm using today for serum. This is intensive anti-aging serum. Our talent too young, but that's what we call anti-aging. And this is a gorgeous serum that helps to reduce appearance of wrinkles and fine line. Like I said, this is all anti-aging. I know someone gonna say she's too young to anti-aging, but I think preventative is great. And this plant-based, oil-free, non-sticky or heavy. This is fantastic under makeup. And I think like for any age, you should start using skincare. I started using eye cream when I was 16. So, at the time, everyone thinks it's crazy, but for me, it's not something you care about, then don't worry about that. Ignore what I say. But this for someone who really take care of her skin. It's just my advice. The last product of skincare prep is the EGF Power Cream. This is also an anti-aging moisturizer to boost elasticity and plump the skin. It's great under makeup. This is oil-free, lightweight, and fast-absorbing formula. It's free of oils, fragrance, alcohol, and gluten as well. I mentioned in previous video already, from now on, if anything that gluten-free or alcohol-free or anything, the information that we are aware of, we mention in every video for you, so you aware of everything. If we don't know, then we won't say it. But if we try to do a little research first before we do our video, so each of the products, some of the details that we know, we will mention in the video. I always say give some love to the skin, give a little massage, fade puffing before makeup. It's gonna help your makeup last longer. For sunscreen, this is another less expensive sunscreen for you. I'm sure you can find a cheaper sunscreen than this. This is more reliable one. This is Innisfree Daily UV Defense Sunscreen SPF 36. Our talent told me she started wearing sunscreen since she was 16, and so it's been over 15 years. So you can see how wonderful her skin is. So it's clearly the Power Sunscreen does wonderful for your skin. So I encourage people to really be serious about taking care of the skin with sunscreen. And this is a lightweight and chemical sunscreen. It's helped to nourish and calm the sensitive skin with green tea and cica ingredient. So you know, the great thing about sunscreen, sometimes most of them have like a moisturizer as well in there. If you have more oily skin, you can use less moisturizer and just use sunscreen. So that's another way that you can minimize the too much shine in your face as well. And this one is free of paraben, mineral oil, and animal products. Don't forget your necks as well, guys. And a little bit around the eye area is good too. For complexion today, I'm going to use the BB Bust Tint Gel Cream from Kosas and the Revealer Concealer. This is like a foundation, it's BB cream, but it feels more like a tinted moisturizer, like a lighter foundation for me. There's a lot of question about different brushes that I would use and how to use them and all different ways to use brushes. So I'm going to show you a few different ways to use foundation. A lot of people would use a foundation sponge, so that everyone know. But if you want to use brush, I show you a few different ones I would use. You can use a bigger, this kind of brush, kabuki brush. This you can get a lot more coverage. Or if you want a smaller one, you can use a brush like this. It's more, give you more softer coverage, or you can press like it more fuller coverage. This kind of texture as well. I'm using today is from Refer. This is the newer foundation brush they have, and this is one I'm going to use. The way this one here I like to use is I can use a foundation, or I can use this for contour and everything as well, because the density of these are great and they're all synthetic. For the BB Bust Tinted Gel Cream, this is give you a natural finish and it's light to medium coverage, and it blur and smooth and hydrate the skin. I'm gonna use very little because Dana have incredible skin. She doesn't need much at all, so I just use very little. So if you use the brush like this, you just do slide like that. If you want very sheer coverage, you can just do very sheer coverage like this. And this also, I mean, like a good powder brush as well. So this one you have a very sheer coverage, and you just go slide through like this. And then if you want a faster, like a way more application, you know, you can do this one here and you can really get the product in there. So many different ways you can do it. For concealer, I'm going to use some of these brushes. So this one is, I know I use a lot of Refer just because I'm a fan of the brand and you see me all the time, so I use a lot of their brushes. This is the newer concealer brush, so I would use something like this. I got a lot more, you know, like it's able to really press the product in there. This is also another great concealer brush for you, especially around the eye area. And this is similar, it's just a smaller and a tiny bit more angular like this. So this is very similar. This one is similar to the foundation brush I said earlier. It's give you that more softer, and this is great as eyeshadow, or you can use as pigment. This is great brushes as well, but I can use as concealer. And if you want to do more pinpoint concealer, because you know, like for me, like when all the smaller area or anything like that, I would use more pinpoint concealer. I think this is more like an eyeliner brush, but I use like a pinpoint to cover pimple or anything like that. I would use something like this. At first, I'm gonna do is I'll give a little bit of the lighter concealer first under the eye area. And I use two different shades. You see the under eye, I use like a light 1 or 2 lighter shades than the rest of the face. And the rest of the face, I use a concealer almost identical to the foundation shades. So that way you look more seamless together when you blend it out. But under the eye area, I like more some brightness. So I use a little bit lighter concealer. And this is skin infused creamy concealer, and it's great to cover and calm the delicate area around the eye like this. And it does give you a medium coverage. It has a radiant finish. And also this is great for sensitive skin as well. You see that I use the lighter concealer on this area. So wherever you want to have some brightness, you put the lighter concealer. For the darker concealer, I use a pinpoint. I use a smaller brush around here. I mean, you can use the bigger brush too. It's personal preference, but you get more detail doing this, you know. So this is darker, so confusing for a second. And that's what you use, it's just a smaller brush. I mean, brushes is like so personal preference. Like I use concealer brush for lips as well, or I use eyeshadow blending brush for the edge of the lips. So it's really, there's not one way to do. That's why for me, people ask me to do the whole video just only about brushes, and I'm like, I don't know what else to do. You know, then that's why I'm combined into a makeup look, and then we can talk detail about brushes for you. But you see, when people design brushes, even they say it's just for lips, but doesn't mean that you only use for lips. You know, if you think that it's used for some other thing, you use it. Because for me, even like, I don't use all those big blending brush because I think it take over the whole eye already. I use a smaller blending brush than most people, but it's just my personal preference. And that's how you just pinpoint the concealer with a smaller brush. And then if you need to go back, you can go tippling like this. You get way more coverage. This would be a great one to, you know, contour around the nose as well. But I know this is just like a concealer brush, but you can use that for that reason as well. For contour, I'm going to use M Cosmetic So Soft Multi Face Blade Bronze and Scope. The shade I'm using, Terra. This is a great shade to use on paler skin because it's not too warm. This is more like a taupey shade. It's lightweight, it's creamy formula, and it's great, easy to blend. For contour, I normally use a bronzer. I would use something like this one from It Cosmetic. You can have two sides, or you can use just the same one you used for the foundation earlier, and this one here you can use same brush, so you don't have to dirty too many brushes. So the contour you can put directly on the face, or you can just go for the brush here if you want a little less. But either way, this formulation is really easy to blend, so you don't have to worry too much. You see that I just able to blend in pretty easy. And I do a little bit more intense contour today. Not intense, but a little more, just to give Dana a very sculpted look today. You see that you can use the same brush as the foundation brush, or you can see me use all the time with the It's Cosmetic brush. And this one here, I think it's a number 7. So that's another way you can do for contour. Put a bit around the hairline. Do the same on the other side. Using brush like this for contour is great because you're really able to dip in the products in there. It really helps to blend the makeup really well. This foundation concealer is great for someone who like more dewy skin, but the look today gonna keep pretty matte, so I'm gonna powder them and set them a little bit. To set, I'm going to use Givenchy Prism Loose Setting and Finishing Powder. The brush I'm using is, I used to use a smaller brush around the eye area. And a larger brush, the rest of the face. It's personal preference. You can use one brush like this for the whole face, you know, you can do like that. I just use only the smaller one because I think it's more controlling how much product I want to put there, you know, and I just use, I think it's more delicate around the eye as well. That's why I use a smaller brush. The brush is soft enough, you can use the same brush everywhere. A personal preference. Some people refer to a smaller brush and they just put in the place like where they want to powder only around here, around the T-zone only, and they don't want to put the whole face, then just use a smaller brush. And that's another way you can do it. So you can exactly place the powder where you want to matte and where you want to leave the shine. You don't put the powder. So it's up to you. But you see, like, you can use the smaller one like this. But if you want to matte the whole face, you can use the bigger brush. I mean, it's just powder. It's pretty easy, straightforward. So that's how I would normally do it. For bronzer today, I'm going to use the Gucci Sunkissed Glow Bronzer. This is a natural finish and long wear formula. Two of my go-to bronzing brush is, these are the two. There's a few of them, but these are two that I was rich to. This one I think is from Surat Beauty. The other one is from Ray Morris. She's a makeup artist from Australia, but they sell online as well. And this is from Surat Beauty. So the one I'm using today is from Ray Morris. So if you like a smaller bronzer brush, you can. But if you want to use a bigger one, this is some of the great one for you. And it's very soft. And the way I do, you see that always just a little bit at a time. And I just basically set the bronzer where I put the contour earlier. Just a little bit only. For eyebrow, I'm going to use two products from Vanngo Beauty. The first one is the Precision Brow Pencil. So the shade I'm using is Ash Blonde. And the second one is, this is a marker. And then two feather brow marker. And then one side is a gel. Because I'm going to use pencil, but then a marker, I'm going to do detail on the eyebrow. It's just my, you know, like one of the things that I like to do. To start, I'm using the pencil first. So whether you're going to keep the eyebrow really arched like this, 90, or you can make them a little less. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep the eyebrow arch, but I'm gonna fill the top a little bit more. So I go cheat this part a little bit. You see what I'm doing? I'm trying a little bit this part here. So it's not go like this, you know. And I just go backward a little bit like that. So a lot of people ask me that the puff, so this is just no name brand. We can link on the description box. I just bought them Amazon. And if you want a brand, would be something like, I would use something like this as well from Laura Mercier. So I'm trying to answer all the questions you asked throughout on this video as much as I remember. So because sometimes I just don't want to do one video just for a simple question. So this way, you know, I can try to answer as much as I can in this video. And you can see that, so it's still arched, but the shape is slightly different. And I fill in the back here a little bit. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So you see that I just do a little bit like that. And then what I'm going to do, and I go with a marker and I will detail where I want to fill in more. If I feel like here, need a little more, it's hard to get with a pencil, I use the marker. And I do throughout. Just a little more detail. And you use the other side to gel the eyebrow up. For the eyes, I'm going to use all these eye products. I know it's a lot, but you don't have to use all of them. But for me, as a makeup artist, I like to play. First product is Rare Beauty Always an Optimist Weightless Eyeshadow Primer. The second product is Bobbi Brown Cosmetic Longwear Cream Shadow Stick. And then the Hindash Hairline Liquid Eyeliner. Huda Beauty One Coat Wow Extra Volumizing and Lifting Mascara. Don't laugh, it's all the name. I'm just reading what they call. And the last one is Eyeshadow Palette. This one from VZR, Etendu Eyeshadow Palette. And these are some of the shade I'm going to use. I'm using more neutral tone. And all the matte shade I'm using, I'm not using all the shimmer, but they're also great with the satin and shimmer texture as well. Eyeshadow primer, I'm just do one coat, close the eye, across the lid area. A lot of people like to use a floppy brush like this, or some people like to use a flat brush like that to apply eyeshadow primer, so it's up to your personal preference. And some prefer to use primer, some don't. It's all personal preference as well. I find that it's a lot easier for me to blend eyeshadow when I use a primer there. It's go on a lot smoother and the eyeshadow lasting a lot better. So for the look that I'm doing today, it's a little bit more sculpted, contouring the eye. So there are so many brushes, so it's all personal preference again. For me, a few blending brush that I like would be some of these here. So I would use this for smudging. If you want a bigger smudgy brush, I would use this brush. And if you go more detailed smudging, or you can do more a smudgy eyeliner, I would like to use this one. So the first one I'm using is eyeshadow stick. But for me, when you put eyeshadow stick this a long way directly into the skin, you're gonna have a hard time to blend fast before it set. Most of the brands, they give you that really few seconds to blend, so it's better to do on the brush. So I would do like this. You don't need to use the eyeshadow stick underneath if you don't want to, but for depth and for longevity of for the shadow, it's great to have some of these underneath there because it's gonna hold the shadow really well for you. And you see that I use this more like a pointier, like a more directional where I put the product, so it's better to use this kind of brush. And I do a little smudgy shape first, and I set with the eyeshadow after. So you see that's what I'm going to do first. And then a little bit on the crease area here. And to be honestly, a lot of people just draw on here and use their finger to blend or the brush to blend. But for me, you see that way I do is I do very subtle like this first with the brush, and it is a lot more control. It just everyone have a different way up to do eyes and then how to blend the eyes, so it's up to you really. And for this eye shape is how high or how pull out, it's up to you. It's all personal taste. I myself like I pull out and pull to this shape instead like that. So some people, they like it really clean and just lift it like that, but for me, I like it more pull out. Let's see. You see that even just like this, she's ready to go as well. Do a little on the bottom as well. So the look I'm doing today is I'm showing you how to create the sculpted eye and makeup, but with the longevity. So the long way eyeshadow stick is gonna help that. It's really gonna have that grip underneath. It's just the same thing when you do your foundation and people put like primer underneath. So this is really just prime the eye really well for the longevity of the eyeshadow. I'm gonna do the same on this side. So you just create like this, more like a map out the shape that you want to do. But this one have that base that's easy for you to do. The next step is I would use this taupey shades here. Some people, they like to use brush like this to apply, or you can use a flat brush. It's all personal preference. I personally don't use that to apply shadow often. I use more flat brush because I really press the product into the skin. And this is what I would do. Close your eye. I just put that color I just did. You see that the color is look a lot more intense now, just because there's a base that grabs the shadow a lot nicer, and that way it's gonna stay there for all day for you, basically, because you have a base there that just hold the shadow for you. So I'm going to do a little bit of the deeper color there, and I will tell you what I use with that brush after, but I just do at the flat brush that apply the shadow. I don't use this one. I would try to do like that. It's just because I think this is way, when you apply with a flat brush like this, you have so much more control of where you put the product. But I've noticed most people don't use a flat brush to press the product like that. So, but for me, it works better for me this way. I'm doing the same on this side. So I just both sides, I just only use this eyeshadow brush. So what I would like to recommend you as well is that you can use some this again, the one like that again, or even smaller one if you want to go further into the crease area. But if you want to use the smaller one like this, you can lay the color exactly where it is first. And I will show you exactly. I just use that. You see that? Because the thing that if you use this, you can't do that at all. It's like the color, it gets everywhere. So you see that I use the smaller one, and I do like that. And the same thing, this small one, you can also use right there. You can get so much more precise of where you want to put the color. And so far, you've seen I'm using just one color eyeshadow, and it's only have so many dimensions. I'm gonna go the same on the side first before I continue. And after you lay the color there, I will go back to this brush to blend. Actually, I'm gonna put a little on the depth here because I put on the side, but I didn't put on this side. Or you can go with the flat more like this, and you can blend it out. And this is if you want more a dense, like a little more dense. It's like almost dense like the one I use for the contour and foundation to blend it out. This is you have more control. Or you can use this one to blend. But this one here, you get exactly where you blend. You know, the color like that. It's a lot more. And this one I use as a blend on the edges on the eye as well. So, or you can use the one I used earlier. This one here, you can blend as well. So it's many choices. Depend how big the crease of the talent as well. You know, if she have a really big crease, then you can have a larger brush and you can play a lot more. If you can have a small crease, then you just go with a smaller brush. Like that. And then what I would do now is I would take this color with this brush, close your eye, and I just add a little more color there. And you can blend this, use that edge to blend out the edges, you know. Same thing on this side. You see that I use that to swirl it up there. A little bit on the bottom here as well. Just really smoke it out. If you want to really blend it out, use a clean brush, something like this, look up for me, and just soften all the edges out. I mean, this is so many brushes options you can use. I mean, there's not one way, just really how you're gonna use them, each personal preference, you know? Just like really blend it out. So what I'm gonna go back is I'm gonna use this little thing here and just detail the color. For me, this little blending brush is amazing for detailing. Next, I use one shade a little bigger than the other one. I'm gonna keep a little more depth on the corner here. You can use the other small brush, it's fine too. I'm using this shade right here. Let's see. You see that, give you that little detail. Let's do the same on this side. Go back to this shades earlier. Close the eye. I'm gonna put a little bit there. From the brush, the clean brush, there's nothing, look up for me, but I'm just gonna use that a little bit of color and I blend it out. Okay, the eyeshadow is done. I'm gonna use, you don't have to, but use a little bit of black liquid liner, mainly on the lash line. Just to keep a little more depth on the lash line there. I'm not going to do too much of like an eyeliner, but I just do really tight line in there. And just mainly a little bit on the lash line there. Let's see. Just a little bit like that. Do the same on the other side. It's always the safest to have a cleaner brush. Just go a little swoosh swoosh. And that way you can blend everything a little better. That way you can just, you know, soften everything, merge everything together. I'm going to curl the lash up camera. Look down for me. For mascara, this is a volumizing and curl effect. And it's supposed to be just one coat and to give you that volume that you wanted, but I'm gonna give like 2 coats. I mean, they quite like, it gives you quite a lot of volume just from one coat, you see. But I'm gonna coat it up. I think this is great mascara. Wow, it does give a lot of volume. This mascara is fantastic. If you want a lot of volume, this would be a great one for you. They give you so much volume. For blush, I'm going to use Gucci Beauty blush. The shade I'm using is called Rosy Beige. All the name going to be in the description box. So here are some brushes I use for blush. So if you use powder blush, you can use this, something like this from the rifle from the 19, or you can use this brush. It's great for powder brush as well. Both of these you can use just powder brush, or you can use blush, or you can use something like this one from Rare Beauty. It's supposed to be for cream blush or liquid blush, but you can use for powder as well, because when you use these brush, you get more like a direct deposit, you know, like what I say, like this one I just really press the color in, so you can get a lot more easier deposit in there. So if you want more a softer, then you can use this here, which is a brush like that. So it's all personal preference, or sometimes I just do this and just like press the product myself if I don't use that brush. So, but this is a great for cream or liquid blush. You can use like that, and you just dab in there, or you can use your finger, but if you use a brush, that would be something you do. Or just really blend it out. And guys, the importance of brush is so important what you use. I think it's a great investment because that's gonna last you a long time. And for application, I mean, your finger is great, but for blending, you layer different layer of color like this, you have to use brush. You know, it's different. You use a little cream or one color, but if you want this kind of effect eyeshadow, I mean, there's nothing better than use great brush on, you know, on the skin. For highlighter, I'm going to use Rare Beauty Positive Light Silky Touch Highlighter. The shade I'm using is Mesmerize, one of my favorite shades. I think it suits on almost every skin color. If you want, this is quite like shimmery highlighter, so you use very little. If you want to use subtle, just use a fan brush. Like this one here, it gives you more like a lighter, not too heavy. If you want to go more intense, you can use some brush like this, and you can just get a lot more highlight if you want to, or you can use the finger. It's all personal reference. This is long wear, vegan and cruelty free, but if you want to use a lot, then it's quite popping. I'm going to use very little because the look I'm trying to do is very subtle highlight, not too much highlight. So the fan brush like this is great, and I think it blends so easy for me. And just a little bit like that. You see the fan brush will give you a lot more control that way with the highlight. For lips, I'm going to use two products from Chanel Beauty. The first one is their longwear lip pencil. The shade is Nude Rune. So, but if I don't say it right, on the description box. The second product is their newer lipstick. This is 31 Le Rouge lipstick, and the shades I'm using is called Rouge Beige. They have 12 shades. For lip products, I use variety of different lip brushes. This is one from Refer. This could be eyeshadow brush, could use lips, could use concealer. I personally do not like a tiny little brush for lips. This is a good size lip brush as well. So if I use this one for lip brush, that's for lip brush, or I just received this in the PR package, and this is supposed to be eyeshadow brush, but I think would be great for lips as well. And this one here, I mean, this is fantastic for lip brush because I think it's not too long and it's have more control if you someone have a fuller lips. And if you're the type of person you don't want a tiny brush, because I don't. I think it takes forever, and I like, you know. And if you want to do more that soft focus lip brush, you can use this brush as well. And then you just use that on blended edges. This would be great for a lip brush, or this is for detailing the eyeshadow, is great as well. All these brushes, we're gonna list it on the description box, and then you have all of them because my assistant gonna list everything. So I know I talk around a lot and you might not know which one, but we're gonna list all the product with step by step exactly where I'm talking, so you know the lip brush or the brush that I'm talking about. But this is some great eyeshadow brush, but I'm gonna use this one for the lips today. To start, I'm gonna outline the shape of the lips a little bit. Dana lip is gorgeous. She has really beautiful full lips. So I'm just gonna follow the lip shape a little bit. Slightly smile for me, no teeth. Yeah. So you say I direct the talent with slightly smile, no teeth, because I think that when they smile big with the teeth, the lips can go all different shape, and that way it's harder for you to draw. So when you do like this, they slightly smile. They stretch the lip a little bit only, and then it shows exactly their lip shape. So for me, that is the best way to draw lips. But to each of their own. Some people like the talent to big smile, or anyway that you do lipstick, it's up to you. And the lip liner I'm doing is slightly deeper than the lipstick, because that is the closest shades I have, but I think it's nice to have a little deeper on the outer edges. For this new Chanel lipstick, they are quite intense pigment and satin finish, long wear, and the great thing is they are refillable, so you can just get the lipstick and the package still there. You don't have to get the whole lipstick again. I like the formula a lot. I use on the talent for actually exactly the same shades lipstick for an event recently, and it's really beautiful. She told me it's just like really long lasting all night, and she feels very comfortable on the lips. And I know the price point are quite high, but I guess, you know, it's to each of their own. You know, some people, they don't mind paying for expensive lipstick, but for this formulation, it's very hydrating and it's great long wear, and it's really beautiful. This is such a beautiful color. I think the texture is really nice, and I actually really like this brush for lips. And I think she intended for like concealer and shadow, but I think it's for lips. I think it's great. I'm going to use the Bio Effect OSA Water Mist again. This one is hydrating mist, but it's subtle mattifying effect. So you can use this to set makeup as well. That's the final look, guys. I hope you enjoy the look. We just do this kind of like smoky, little 90, little, you know, I'm just playing with the makeup. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for lending me your canvas. She really liked the look. She only looked at herself in the mirror. I hope everyone always give the channel a lot of love. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And don't forget to follow all of us on Instagram as well. Thank you.